You're destroying my property value." That was the first thing I heard that morning, Lorraine Ashford's voice slicing through the sunrise like a chainsaw through pine, loud enough I swear to rattle the birds out of the oaks. I froze, hammer halfway to the post, still breathing in that smell of fresh-cut red oak from the sign I'd just carved, still thinking maybe, just maybe, this patch of dirt was finally going to be my piece. Next thing I know, there's a Mercedes sliding up to the property line, dust swirling in the air I'd measured with GPS 3 separate times just to be sure. And here comes Lorraine, HOA polo, tucked tight, finger wagging like she's the queen of Green Valley, marching right at me with a scowl that could sour milk. She didn't even look at the deed in my hand, just zeroed in on my brand new private property, no trespassing sign, her face all twisted up like I'd painted graffiti on her front door. Now, if you've ever dealt with HOA drama, you know this is only the tip of the iceberg, so go ahead and drop a comment because trust me, it gets worse before it gets better. I had no idea then that Lorraine would call the cops on me 3 times in 5 days, blast my face all over social media, or that her entitled son would sneak onto my land at 2 a.m. with a spray can and a hammer. All I knew was I'd bought this half-acre fair and square, the deed was solid, and the scent of lumber in the cool morning air felt like a new start after too many rough years. I'd come out there at dawn, 6:00 a.m., before the sun burned off the dew, before the world got loud. My property just outside the Green Valley HOA border was flat open and lonely, but it was mine. I'd spent just about everything I had left from selling the city house, the one Sarah and I bought before cancer took her. I couldn't stay there after she was gone, couldn't wake up to the smell of her shampoo and empty rooms. This land, this workshop I wanted to build was supposed to be my second chance, a new beginning, even if it was just me now. The sign was the first step. I carved it myself, 8 feet of red oak deep, letters, nothing fancy, just boundaries. Vernon Dutch helped me mount it, local guy, tough as nails, the kind who knows what a good joint looks like. "Be careful with those folks next door," he'd muttered, nodding at the subdivision, especially Lorraine Ashford. Voice dropped like saying her name could summon her. I shrugged. What could they do? I wasn't in their HOA. But Vernon's jaw just tightened, and he said, "You ought to put up cameras just in case." I laughed, even though my gut twisted. What for? It's just a workshop. But Vernon finished his coffee, packed up, and before he left, he looked at me like he already knew how this would play out. She's run off 3 other owners. Makes their lives hell till they give up and leave. "I like you, Garrett, but I gotta live over there." And with that, he was gone. Barely 10 minutes later, the dust cloud rolled in, black Mercedes Lorraine behind the wheel. No hesitation. No hello, just, "This land is under my jurisdiction. You're trespassing on HOA property." I tried to keep it civil. Showed her the deed, pointed out the county seal, the GPS coordinates. Everything legal and clear as day. She never looked at the paper. Just said, "That sign comes down now or I'm calling the police." I felt that old cold squeeze in my chest, the same one I had every morning after Sarah passed. The feeling of being trapped by something unreasonable, something that doesn't care about facts or decency. I told Lorraine, "This is my land. I've got every right to post a sign." She didn't care. "You will remove that sign or I will have you removed." And then she stormed off, spinning gravel across my property as she went. Vernon was right. I stood there, hands aching from the work, staring at my sign and wondering what I'd gotten myself into, but I wasn't about to give up. This was all I had left. I took photos of the sign, the boundary line, logged everything. Then I called Nolan Pierce, old trade school buddy turned lawyer. Laid it out for him, nerves shot but voice steady. He listened, told me to document everything, every word, every visit, every call. "She's testing you. Don't fold." Good advice, because 30 minutes later the cops rolled up. Deputy Finch, young guy, all business. Got a call about illegal construction. I handed him the deed, permits, everything. He checked, nodded, said I was within my rights, but then told me to work things out with the HOA president. I asked if I'd done anything illegal. He said no, but the but hung in the air anyway. He left, and for a second I felt like I'd won and lost at the same time. Went to town, bought cameras, spent the afternoon learning how to wire them up. That night, a notification popped up. Lorraine had posted my photo in the Green Valley Residents Association group, warning folks about a suspicious individual putting up unauthorized signage. Hundreds of comments, half of them calling me a squatter, a criminal, or worse. Tried to reply, but she'd blocked me from commenting. All I could do was screenshot everything and send it to Nolan. Next day, I went back to work early, got those cameras mounted just in time for the twist. Instead of Lorraine, it was her son Blake, rolling up in a blue sports car, sunglasses on, attitude dialed to 11. My mom says you need to take that sign down. I barely looked up. Your mom doesn't have authority here. You're trespassing now. He laughed real mean. You have no idea who you're messing with. My mom runs this whole place. I kept my cool. Didn't take the bait. Just logged his threats, snapped pictures when he accidentally bent my foundation stakes as he left. But inside, something hardened. This wasn't just about a sign anymore. This was about whether I'd let them bully me off my own land. So I made a choice, not gonna break, not for them. 3 days later, county envelope shows up, mandatory HOA board meeting. Emergency. They can't compel me, but Nolan said, I better show up or it'll look like I'm hiding. I walked into that room, 30 pairs of eyes on me, Lorraine presiding up front like a small-town queen. She tried to dress it up as concern for community standards, said my sign was hurting property values. I held up the deed, told them, my property isn't part of your HOA. Take it up with the county. One of her cronies piped up. They'd already tried to block my permits. Lorraine leaned in, smug. We have influence. We can make this very, very slow for you. I didn't flinch. I'll see you in court if I have to. I left to a wave of murmurs, called Nolan. He said that was actionable abuse of authority, but warned me it was about to get uglier. Next day, went to the planning office. My permits were flagged for review, requested by the Green Valley HOA. More red tape, more delays, but everything was on paper. Called Nolan again, we started the complaint process. 10 days later, after a formal filing, my permits finally came through. Tried to pour the foundation, hired a crew from out of town. Sirens wailed. Lorraine had called the cops again. They made us stop mid-pour for an inspection. Ruined the work, cost me $300 in materials. Everything checked out, but the damage was done. 3 police calls, everyone logged, everyone without cause. Nolan said, she'll keep escalating until we push back legally. Then at 3 a.m. one night, motion alert caught Blake on camera, smashing my sign with a hammer spray painting profanity across it. The footage was crystal clear. Sent it to Nolan, called the police, gave them everything. Deputy Finch actually apologized, realizing he'd been used. From that point it was war, but I had the evidence. Nolan filed the civil complaint for harassment, defamation, property interference. The DA filed criminal charges against Blake. Permits finally approved, poured the foundation with 6 cameras running, crew briefed, not giving them any openings. Sure enough, Lorraine showed up in person, this time crossed the property line, shoved one of my workers, and threw tools into wet concrete. Everything on camera, police called trespassing and assault charges filed. Nolan said, now we go on offense. But the real twist, an anonymous email showed up the truth about Lorraine Ashford. Inside HOA financial records, scanned documents, proof of embezzlement. Landscaping jobs, double billed maintenance, never done withdrawals for community improvements that lined her own pocket. I cross-checked with public records, took it all to Nolan, then the district attorney. Now it was bigger than me, hundreds of families ripped off. Whistleblower came forward, Patrice, the ousted treasurer, backed up everything. Soon enough, warrants were issued. Lorraine and Blake both arrested, embezzlement, fraud, destruction of property, assault, abuse of authority. The community was stunned. The social media group blew up apologies, outrage demands for reform. In court, the prosecutor laid it all out, fake invoices, threats, vandalism, and that footage of Blake smashing my sign. The defense folded Blake, turned state's witness. Lorraine tried to run, but the judge wasn't buying it. 12 years in prison for Lorraine, 3 years probation for Blake, over $800,000 restitution, and a lifetime ban from community management. Afterward, the land felt different. The workshop got built. The sign replaced, this time with a new line at the bottom. Built on truth, defended by law. Patrice was elected HOA president, ran audits, set things right. Even Vernon came back to help with the finishing touches, and work picked up, neighbors coming by for benches, planter boxes, signs of their own. And you know what? The cameras are still up. Not out of fear, but as a reminder, vigilance means learning from the past, not living in it. Now, when people ask how I survived the Green Valley Gauntlet, I tell them document everything, trust the process, and remember truth when you're patient will outlast any bully. So here's my question for you. What's the line between standing your ground and giving in to power? Ever had to fight for something that was rightfully yours? Drop your story below. Let's talk about what justice really looks like. And, hey, if you made it this far, hit that like button and share your thoughts because someone out there might need to know they're not alone.